we rolling? And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Newman Catholic High School, Balliet Field, for today's scrimmage between the Newman Catholic Cardinals and Port Edwards. I'm Chad Holmes. Glad you could join us here on YouTube.com and the Newman Catholic Friends of the Gridiron channel. Thanks to the Newman Catholic Friends of the Gridiron football action. It's been a very difficult 2020. Of course, the last high school sporting events occurred back in early March. The girls' state basketball tournament got underway one day. Unfortunately, the Newman Catholic Cardinals were supposed to play in the state semifinals in Division V the following morning. So no high school athletics in terms of our broadcasts have been since that point. We've had a few high school athletics get underway in the last week or so, and now we're getting set for the start of football. And, of course, next week is the opener for the high school football season in the state of Wisconsin. But here today, it is a scrimmage. And some conferences not able to scrimmage, others are able to, and you usually don't like to scrimmage a team from your own conference. But in this case, and the Cardinals and Port Edwards will be scrimmaging today, and they'll face off in the fifth week of the conference season. In fact, Newman Catholic will travel to Port Edwards coming up on Friday, October the 23rd, in what is scheduled to be the last conference game of the season. 6 teams in the CWC East. It's a brand new conference this season. Newman Catholic, along with Port Edwards, also in the conference is Greenwood, Marion Tigerton, Tri-County, and Bowler Gresham. We'll have more on the conference and what to expect. It's going to be a different kind of broadcast than you're used to in terms of if you tune into my broadcast on Sports Fan WXCO. We're going to it's more of a conversation here today, of course, with Port Edwards. No numbers on their jerseys. We're going to try to give you some of the top performers for Port Edwards and also the Newman Catholic Cardinals. The setup for this scrimmage will start out with 20 minutes of varsity offense versus defense. Which team is on offense and one team will be on defense will be flipped then after 20 minutes. We'll have 20 more minutes of offense and defense in varsity, and then we'll also have some JV action, 15 minutes of Newman offense, and then 15 minutes of Newman defense, or Port Edwards offense and then defense, whichever order they go into. But it looks like Port Edwards will get the football first for 20 minutes here in the varsity versus varsity aspect. One thing about this matchup, as we look forward towards the end of the season in week number 5, these teams both have lots of offensive talent. And Port Edwards, in talking to their coach Max Ayers yesterday, talked about a lot of skill position players back, including their quarterback, Quentin Tranel. And he's right now taking the snap. It'll be a quick handoff and a pickup of about 4 yards. But Quentin Tranel, his numbers last season for Port Edwards were huge, both in terms of passing and in terms of rushing the football. Tranel last season had 1,290 yards through the air, had 15 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions. His pass percentage was not very high. He completed 56 of 146, 38.4%. Shotgun formation, little option to the right, pitch out right-hand side up to the 35, and then a nice tackle by the Cardinal D after a pickup of maybe 2 yards on the play. Newman Catholic has been good both offensively and defensively over the last few years. Getting in on that tackle for the Cardinals. I think Brenner on that side of the field. But again, Newman's been both one of the best teams in 8-man football offensively and also defensively in the last 3 years, where they have won 33 of their 35 games, 33 victories, just 2 losses over the past 3 seasons. Third down, about 6 yards to go for Port Edwards. Tranel looking to throw, gets flushed to the left-hand side, gets away from one man, still pressured. He'll fire it. It will be incomplete, but good pressure that time by the Cardinals. Thomas Bates in there for Newman Catholic among the pressure for Newman. But Quentin Tranel, very athletic player. And again, he returns after doing it on both sides of the football. In fact, he had 9 interceptions on defense as well. He was responsible for nearly 40 touchdowns last season. He had 15 touchdowns through the air. He also added 21 touchdowns on the ground and returned 2 passes for touchdowns as well for Port Edwards a season ago. 4th down, about 5.5 yards to go. Tranel getting pressured again. He'll fire it up for grabs, and it will be incomplete. After early on, the Cardinal defense, again, looking very solid. Looking at some of the players out on the field for the Cardinals. And again, it's a little bit different. Some of the numbers are changed on their practice jerseys. But see Brendan Shaughnessy out there, a linebacker. See Nick Brenner, defensive back. Charlie McCarty. We expect big things both offensively and defensively from Charlie McCarty. He's going to be a defensive end on the defensive side of the football. We'll talk about his pass receiving skills when the Cardinals start their offense during the scrimmage. Another set of downs now. Again, the way that this scrimmage will work, 20 minutes of offense here for Port Edwards, and then 20 minutes of Cardinal offense for the varsity players. Here comes a jet sweep to left-hand side. Good cut and brought down and at the 33-yard line. For the Port Edwards squad, in terms of their rush game, Tranel was their leading rusher last season. They do have a couple of other runners that are back this season. Jesse Maher, I believe that may have been Maher with the carry. He had 66 carries for 306 yards and 3 touchdowns last season for Port. Port was a playoff team as well last year. They went 6-4 overall. They were eliminated by Oakfield in the Level 1 playoffs. Looking to throw Quentin Tranel. Again, he gets flushed. Again, good early pressure by the Cardinals, and he will be whistled down. Charlie McCarty coming in, getting some pressure. Brenner coming in, getting some pressure as well for the Cards, but I think Charlie McCarty is going to be a force up front for the Cards, and the Cardinals have been using pressure up front defensively. 3 in this new CWC East Conference. Tranel has plenty of time this time. He's going to fire it deep over the left-hand side. He's got a man, and it will be incomplete. The receiver did have a step, but the pass was just a bit underthrown. One-on-one defense for the Cards. That was Nick Brenner on the coverage for the Cardinals. Jacob Piffner will come on now and get some time on the defensive side of the football for Newman Catholic. I had a chance to talk on the phone with the Port head coach Max Ayers yesterday. Young coach, only 27 years old, I believe his second year, third year at the helm. But he said offensively, the philosophy on the offensive side of the football is to have a lot of variety, not let the defense get a real sense of what they want to do. So they're going to try to do a lot of different things. In this case, you got 4 receivers, empty backfield, 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Tranel again fires it as he got hit by Charlie McCarty, and good defense. Jacob Piffner came in, cut in front of that intended receiver, and knocked it down for the incomplete pass. But again, right defensive end, and we've seen it right away. Charlie McCarty, physically, not many players that Charlie's going to be facing will be able to handle him physically. I mean, just incredible size for Charlie McCarty. It says 6'3". I think he may be pushing 6'4", maybe 6'5" for the Cards. But at the same time, it's going to be interesting to see how the Cardinals do use some, especially the two-way players. A lot of two-way players. You got to have blows from time to time, especially for someone like McCarty. He's going to be a big target offensively at the wide receiver position as well. Another set of downs here for the Port Edwards squad, and trying a quarterback draw, but not finding a whole lot of room, is down on the ground. I believe that was Thomas Bates getting a piece of the tackle. Yep, that was Thomas Bates. And again, another player that had incredible numbers on the offensive side of the football and the defensive side of the ball for the Cards last season. Thomas Bates had 65 tackles a year ago for the Cardinals. Newman Catholic, couple of holes that they will fill, but not, a lot of talent back for the Cardinals. Of course, they lost their quarterback, Ben Bates, to graduation, and Joe Steffen, a great two-way player as well for the Cards. The second leading tackler a year ago for Newman. But the Cardinals, again, have a lot of talent back for the team that made it all the way to the state championship game a season ago. Second down, about 9 yards to go. Again, Port Edwards looking to throw it, goes over the middle, and Piffner goes up, got the contact right as the ball arrived. And again, not much going through the air so far in this scrimmage for Port Edwards. Last season, Port Edwards started off their campaign losing 42-40 to McDonell. Again, a lot of high-scoring games in eight-man football, a lot of high-scoring games for McDonell. They did defeat Williams Bay in week 2, 26-19, lost to Wisconsin Heights 76-34. And that Wisconsin Heights team a year ago was a good one. We saw the Cardinals go down to Wisconsin Heights. It was a tight game for a half. Cardinals pulled away late for the victory. We'll talk more about what happened to Port Edwards last season in just a bit. This time, two running backs, although confusion, and the whistle blows. Quentin Tranel was looking for the handoff, and then all of a sudden, you could almost see the deer in the headlights look, even from our broadcast position. And here in the scrimmage, obviously going to protect the quarterback and protect all the players to avoid any injuries going into next week's season opener. So another fourth down situation. At this point, the Cardinal D has not allowed a first down during this scrimmage. And as I said, lots of offensive talent back. The coach, in my conversation yesterday with Max Ayers, he said that a lot of talent back, 5 starters on both sides of the football for Port Edwards. There's a sweep handoff, left-hand side, and not finding a lot of room, cutting up to about the 30-40 yard line before another tackle being made by the Cards. Gavin Wolf, who was the leading tackler for Newman Catholic a season ago. Gavin had 110 tackles during the course of the 2019 season. So another set of downs coming up for Port Edwards. We got Carl Thorpe, the Cardinal defensive coordinator, has to like what he's seen so far from his crew. Cardinals will be opening up their season next Saturday afternoon, 1 p.m. start right here at Newman Catholic High School. Take on Greenwood. Greenwood is a brand new team in eight-man football. And in fact, when you get preseason prognostications from WisSports.net, Cardinals predicted to be first, Greenwood second. So a big opener for the Cards next week. There's a handoff right-hand side in the backfield. A throw for a loss on the play. Boy, oh boy, Cardinal D right now is not getting fooled at all on anything that Port is trying to run. But again, next week, I'll have the game on SportsFan 98.9 FM, 12:30 a.m., online at WXCOFM.com. Also, your mobile devices be on the air at 12:30 or so for the pregame show, and then 1 o'clock for the kickoff coming up next week, Saturday, in the season opener for the Newman Catholic Cardinals. That this year, the Cardinals in their 5 conference games will have them live on SportsFan 98.9 4 times. And the 5th game, the second week game for Newman Catholic, when they travel to Marion Tigerton, that game will be live on our website, WXCOFM.com, and also aired on a tape delay basis on SportsFan 98.9. Little bit of discussion right now going on in the Port Edwards huddle. Port Edwards Blackhawks. This time, tight. Port Edwards Blackhawks. This time, tight formation. Tight ends. Receiver to the right-hand side as well. Running back lined up to the left. Shotgun formation. Rolling is Quentin Tranel. He'll fire it up, and a grab is made. First down for Port Edwards up to the 45-yard line. In fact, right now, Cardi on line. So obviously the pass rush not quite as hot for Newman Catholic. See Ben Hardesty right now playing the right defensive end position. But for the first time, up to the 45-yard line, a first down for Port Edwards. Another tight formation for the Blackhawks. This time a handoff up the middle, finding a little bit of seam up to about the 50-yard line. For Port Edwards, a player to keep an eye on this season will be David Gibbs, a very good athlete. In fact, he was an athlete, a multi-sport athlete. He had transferred up to a Rhinelander, but then came back to Port. He came back too late, but David Gibbs, a senior, 6'2". He's going to be an offensive weapon for Port Edwards. And again, talking to the coach yesterday, he's somebody that he's very happy to have as part of his team this season, and perhaps one of those wild card presences in terms of them trying to battle near the top of the in the CWC East. 20-yard line. That time the receiver on the left-hand side, and that may well have been David Gibbs. Yep, that was, again, I was just talking about him, and that is a kid that every opponent for Port Edwards this season is going to have to keep a close eye on. That time he was able to beat the coverage on the defensive side, right-hand side, and with the time to throw for Quentin Tranel, he's able to drop it right in there for a big gain. That was a pickup of about 40 yards on the play to the Newman Catholic 15-yard line. Again, tight formation. We're seeing a lot more tight formation give the protection to the quarterback. This time, Toronto rolling to the right. He's going to float it towards the end zone, and he's got his man in the end zone for a touchdown. So a couple of big pass plays. And again, the Cardinals substituting rather liberally on the defensive side of the football. And again, this is not about how many times you score, how many times you make big plays. It's about getting better for the first week of the season. In fact, next week, Port Edwards, that sets up pretty nicely to get off to a good start for Port Edwards. Teams they're facing off the next Marion, Tigerton, and Tri-County, teams that are expected to be towards the bottom half of the conference. If Port Edwards wants to compete for a conference championship, they'll face probably their first real significant test when they take on Greenwood at home. Greenwood, again, expected to be a major factor in this conference in their first season of 8-man. Greenwood was a team that was in the playoffs a season ago in 11-man football. And, of course, Cardinals know Greenwood very well from their us. We're at Newman Catholic High School on the YouTube, the Newman Catholic Friends of the Gridiron. Glad you could join us. I'm Chad Holmes for this scrimmage between Newman Catholic and Port Edwards. There's a snap. Again, looking to throw are the Blackhawks. There comes the rush, and that would have been a huge loss on the play. Good pressure right up the middle that time for the Cardinals. And we've talked about this over the last few years. Again, it's all about getting that pressure defensively. In an 8-man football, if you don't get the pressure defensively, simply put, you're going to be in trouble. Coming in was Gavin Wolf on the blitz that time, right up the middle for the Cardinals to put the big pressure on. Charlie McCarty was there on the right-hand side as well for Newman. But that's one thing. That's been the key. I mean, obviously the Cardinals have had, frankly, record-setting offensive numbers the last few years. But without the defense, you don't win every week. Because there are weeks where the offense is not going to click 100%. But when that's happened, the Cardinals have had their defense, for the most part, step up and earn them some victories as well. Here's a handoff, and again, nice job by the Cardinals. Who is 22? Huh? Oh, that's Ben. Okay. Why is he wearing 22? I got Tony Knoll right here. He doesn't tell me these things. Well, Ben came up the play. Maybe 22 definitely working so far. So another nice play up front. Ben Knoll playing right in the middle for the Cardinals. Got Thomas Bates on the left-hand side, Ben Knoll in the middle, and then on the right-hand side, Charlie McCarty for the Cards. Here comes the rush, throwing it up on the right-hand side. Double team, and there's Dylan Ackerman to make the pick for the Cardinals. That's something we saw quite a bit last season for the Cardinals. Dylan Ackerman, he had 6 interceptions during the course of the 2019 campaign for Newman. Again, I'm looking at the Tigerton at Tigerton High School Friday, October the 2nd. They'll be back here at Newman Catholic for a 4 p.m. game on Friday, October the 9th against Boulder Gresham. Then home on the 17th. Yep, it'll be a Saturday game on the 17th. Tri-County 4 p.m. game on October the 23rd. Handoff left-hand side. Another nice play up front. Again, the Cardinal D right in the middle. That was Gavin right to the ball carrier. Again, Wolf has been a tackling machine for the Cardinals, but you get a lot of help up front. Again, the linebackers clean up and that's going to lead this time trips on the left-hand side for Port. Hampton, it will be incomplete as Jacob Piffner right in on the receiver for the Cards. Back for Port Edwards. Got Jesse Maher, who's a running back. He's returning after 300 yards plus last season. Got Timmy Tranel, who's a sophomore, tight end, middle linebacker. He's returning for the Blackhawks. Quentin Tranel, of course, the quarterback and defensive back, and his big production. Carson Parks, a running back, returning as well. Zach Peterson. Alex Hernandez. I haven't talked much about him. He had some big numbers receiving. Hernandez. Boy, you add somebody like David Gibbs to what Alex Hernandez did for Port Edwards last season. Here's a throw left-hand side, and that's just over the top of the intended receiver. But Alex Hernandez last season for Port Edwards, He caught 27 balls. Not a lot, 3 a game, but he had 778 yards receiving. He averaged 28.8 yards per reception a season ago. So you got that back. Zach Peterson had 18 catches for 282 yards, 7 yards per catch. Timmy Tranel, the tight end, had 11 catches, 241 yards, 21.9 yards per catch. So again, they had big plays through the pass game. Their pass percentage was only 38.4% last season, Port Edwards. But at the same time, when they did connect, it was for big chunks of yardage. But the thing again, and that's something the schedule is going to be tougher this season for Port. They were independent a season ago. Joining the CWC East is going to be a tougher schedule for the Blackhawks. A little bit of room on the right-hand side of the offensive front that time for Port Edwards. Believe that may have been Jesse Maher with the carry for the Blackhawks. Again, he had 66 carries for 306 yards, averaged 4.6 yards per carry, scored 4 touchdowns a year ago for Port. But the Cardinals will be one of the best teams in 8-man football again this season. You expect, I think Greenwood is a team that's going to be a ranked team in 8-man football this season. And then Port will have to battle the other teams in this league in order to try and work their way into a potential postseason playoff, depending on what kind of playoff system we have this season. Low snap and a nice little pick there by the quarterback, rolling to the left, looking now to pull it down and get pushed out of bounds after a very short gain. Ben Hardesty over, part of that tackle. Also Jacob Piffner. But according to WithSports.net and their CWC East preview, their predicted order of finish this season, the Newman Catholic Cardinals predicted to be first, Greenwood second, Port Edwards third, Marion Tigerton fourth, Tri-County fifth, and Boulder Gresham sixth. It's a shame this season has been pushed back and a lot of, with 30% of the teams, especially in 11-man going to the spring, the all football conferences starting. Oh, big pressure again for the Cardinals. Boy, oh boy, if this time from the left-hand side of the offensive front for the Newman Catholic Cardinals. That was, again, Thomas Bates coming in, putting the heat on for the Cards. I can't imagine a much better front for the Cards than the kind of pressure that Charlie McCarty, getting set. It looks like to come back in, and looks like Thomas Bates will get a break. But the athleticism of both Bates and McCarty on the edges for the Cardinals up front are going to cause a lot of difficulty for their opponents this season. If you can see on the far side, the fans are up behind the fencing here. No fans involved in the interior area, but nice crowd on hand on a beautiful day. This time, plenty of time to throw. Thrown on the right-hand side. It's picked off. Intercepted by Eli Gustafson on the far sideline for the Cardinals. It was a floater, and he was able to hold up, and it looks as though that will be the 20-minute end of the offensive side for the Port Edwards Blackhawks. I think we'll get a short break, and then we'll come back with the Newman Catholic Cardinals on offense. But you have to say, there was one score by Port Edwards, but generally the Cardinal defense was able to do a lot of good things. We saw some good pressure up front. We saw them close in on the rush game very quickly. We saw a couple of picks as well. So, again, in that 20-minute session for the Cardinal defense against the Port Edwards offense, have to give the Cardinals probably a pretty good grade. I'll give them an A, but I'm known to be a little bit liberal with my grading as well. So give them the A on that. You saw it out there on YouTube, so you can grade them yourself. It's not like being on the radio where I could tell you exactly what I see, and then you have to take my word for it. So you guys see it this time. But again, glad to be on YouTube here. And again, thanks to the Newman Catholic Friends of the Gridiron for putting this up on their channel. Cardinal home games will be streamed this season, so either on this channel. I believe next week is going to be on the I think the Zaleski Sports channel as well will have a streaming of it, but make sure you tune in on the radio with me, either on radio, online, or on your phone. So we'll be on both. Again, this year we have, if you haven't noticed, we do have a FM translator this year. So you can tune in 98.9 FM, also still 1230 AM. Our website is now WXCOFM.com. We got our streams on there. We got our on-air stream. We also have our sports stream. So nights that we have multiple games, we'll have games on our sports stream as well. But now we're going to see the Newman Cardinal offense. And again, this season, new starting quarterback for the Cards. It's going to be Dylan Ackerman. Of course, Dylan had some opportunity under center last season with the injury to Ben Bates. But again, what a career Ben Bates had the last 3 seasons, leading the Cardinals to only 2 losses in 3 seasons, a unofficial state championship as a sophomore when the Cardinals went 10-0, won the first place Jamboree game against Luck, made it to the state semifinals as a junior, and then made it to the state championship game last season. But we saw Dylan Ackerman get better and better and better at quarterback, because when he took over after the injury in week 3 to Ben Bates in that game at Algoma, up to that point, Ackerman, all of his reps in practice had been as a wide receiver. He had no reps at quarterback. It took a little time for him to get the rhythm going, but he got better and better. And then that game against Wisconsin Heights, where he was responsible for 6 touchdowns in that huge win, 48-20 victory for the Cards at Wisconsin Heights last season, and Dylan Ackerman responsible for 6 touchdowns in that game. Motion to the left, Ackerman takes the snap. It'll be a handoff. Thomas Bates, big opening, 35 to the 40, to the 50. He could go all down the left sideline, 30 to the 20, and Thomas Bates will take it all the way for a score on the first offensive play of the scrimmage for the Cardinals. Talking about the quarterback, of course, you got to talk about the running back. What a freshman campaign that Thomas Bates had for the Cards. He had 1,757 yards on 167 carries. He averaged 10.5 yards per attempt, scored 25 touchdowns on the ground last season. So, again, it was an incredible campaign. And the thing about it is, when he got to that week 3 game at Algoma, at that point, Thomas Bates had under 100 yards, and then he was pretty much unstoppable the rest of the season. Very, very impressive as a freshman. We'll be looking forward to seeing what he can do now as a sophomore. So one play, 70-yard touchdown run for Bates to get the Cardinal offense going. Again, it will be a 20-minute session on offense, and then after that, we'll see some JV action. The Newman offense will get 15 minutes. The Port Edwards offense will also get 15 minutes on the JV side as well during this scrimmage. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left for the Cardinals. Motion to the left as Dylan Ackerman will take the snap. This time Dylan looking to throw. He'll fire it. Got his man complete. Losing his balance, falling forward is Nick Brenner to about the 38-yard line. Had 60 a year ago. But McCard, what a year. He had 20 catches in the state championship game against Luck. Motion to the left, snap taken. Ackerman, lefty will fire. He's got his man. That's Charlie McCarty, 45. McCarty will put his head down and get to the midfield stripe. Pick up about 13 yards on that easy pitch and catch. One thing I'm going to be curious to watch, especially early in the season, is how the connection between Dylan Ackerman and Charlie McCarty goes, because Bates and McCarty had the incredible connection that came after a couple of seasons of working together. During the games where Bates was out, McCarty's numbers were a bit down in terms of his receiving. So again, the quarterback receiver connection has to be developed. He got better and better as Dylan Ackerman got more experience as the starting quarterback a season ago for the Cards. Nick Brenner to the left-hand side, McCarty to the right. McCarty will go in motion to the left. Again, shotgun formation for the Cards. There's the snap. It will be a fake handoff. It'll be Ackerman, room to run, 50 to the 45, left-hand side to the 40, cuts back to the middle of the field, 35 to the 30, dragging a tackler to the 25 and brought down at the 24-yard line. 27 yards, and that is one area the Cardinals are going to have more flexibility this season. With the injury last year to Ben Bates, that took away a lot of the quarterback run opportunities for Paul Micklig in his play calling. And of course, Bates was never what you call a great runner, but he had the ability to run before the injury. And then once he had the injury, he was limited, and it was just a gutty performance by Bates to come back late in the season with basically still a broken leg. Played in pain, but he still was able to get the Cardinals to the state championship game and connect 20 times with Charlie McCarty in that title game. 2 running backs this time fired again. Oh, that time Charlie was looking to run before he got that football, bounces off his fingertips and then off his shoulder pads in an incomplete pass. But again, McCarty, a little hitch pattern about 5 yards downfield, had plenty of room. And that's the thing. If you're a defensive back, if you play tight on McCarty, he's got that ability to get past you and use his height to grab passes downfield. And then if you play back on him, Cardinals are more than willing to take those short gains and then also use McCarty's running ability and his power to gain additional yardage after the catch. Cardinals second down, 10 yards to go at the Port Edwards 25-yard line. Receivers left and right. There's the snap. There's a handoff up the middle. Big opening Bates. 20 to the 15 to the 10, and he will go in untouched for a touchdown. 2 rushes for Bates, and he has yet to be touched, let alone tackled. The blocking up front outstanding, and the vision and the running outstanding as well for the Cards. Second touchdown during this scrimmage, a 20-minute offensive session for the Cardinals. Cardinals have been practicing for just under 2 weeks, about a week and a half. First day of practice was on Labor Day Monday. Teams get basically the same kind of schedule as you normally would see, about 12 days before the scrimmage and then just under 3 weeks before the first game of the season. Got Ben Knoll at the center. The left guard is Brennan Shaughnessy up front, working for the Cardinals. So again, the Cardinals and then Gavin Wolf on the right-hand side. Has the potential to be a very solid front for the Cardinals, and it helps when you have great runners and then the combination with some good blocking as well. This time the Cards will come out with 2 receivers on the right-hand side, 1 on the left. Lone setback to the right in the gun is Dylan Ackerman. Dylan looking to the left-hand side. There's that little short pass to Charlie McCarty. And there we see what McCarty can do. He'll drag 3 tacklers, a few extra yards, and get close to the first down sticks. So again, you take that short pass, it may be only 5 yards, but McCarty's got the potential to make men miss. And then also, if the tackler gets there, to drag the tacklers for extra yards as well. And then you take 9 yards on first down. And as a play caller for Paul Micklig, 2nd and 1, you have the entire playbook at your disposal. But the Cardinal offense looking very sharp early on. And again, it should be a very good matchup next week. Next Saturday, 1 p.m. kickoff right here at Newman Catholic when Greenwood comes in. During the offseason in the state 8-man polls, both teams in the top 10. The Cardinals are ranked number 2. I believe Greenwood was number 7, if I'm not mistaken. That was during the springtime. Looking to the near side this time. Oh, pass is tipped, but it's an incomplete pass. Well, Piffner out there, also Nick Brenner and Charlie McCarty as the receiving core for the Cards. Paul Micklig out on the field, giving the play to his team. Again, trying to work through different formations, work through different aspects of the offense, and also not show everything because you do trade video of your scrimmages with the Greenwood team. There's a pass again. Jacob Piffner makes a man miss near sideline 50. Piffner could go 35 to the 30, and Jacob Piffner will head to the end zone, 61 yards for a 3rd Cardinal touchdown. Again, a short pass. If the first man does not make the tackle, all of a sudden, lots of room to run. In that case, Jacob Piffner. And the Cardinals, again, another big play offensively, this time through the air to get their 3rd score. Well, the Card defense, if I gave them an A, I don't know what I can give the offense. I think an A+ at this point. I'm going to stop grading them because I'm digging myself a big hole that way. But the Cardinals will start another set at their own 30-yard line. Hey, don't forget, you can join me on Friday night for our first high school football broadcast of the season on SportsFan 98.9, 1230, WXCOFM.com, and the mobile devices. I'll have the Wausau West Warriors Friday night on field against the Wausau East Lumberjacks, the log game to start off the season. I'll be on the air from Tom Field at 6:30 for the pregame, 7 o'clock for the kickoff. And then a tape delay basis on Friday night, it'll be Mosinee taking on Lakeland in their opener. That game will be on tape delay on SportsFan 98.9 and also on the Sports 2 stream on our website, WXCOFM.com. Saturday, we'll have a doubleheader as well. We'll start here at Newman Catholic, Cardinals and Greenwood. 12:30 pregame, 1 o'clock for the opening kickoff. And the Marathon Red Raiders, they have their original opening game against Owen Whitby canceled a couple of days ago, but they were able to get a replacement game. They'll take on Omro next Saturday at Marathon. 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll have it on tape delay on SportsFan 98.9 and online at WXCOFM.com live at 1 o'clock. There's a fake handoff up the middle, a little scoop over, I should say hop over the lineman. Up to the 35, 36-yard line is Dylan Ackerman. And again, it'll be very interesting to watch how the Cardinals use Dylan Ackerman and his running ability. Ackerman had a nice season, both in terms of the weeks he was at quarterback last year, but also as a Ackerman, handoff up the middle. Big opening 40, running through attack 35 is Thomas Bates. Bates looks like he has been in the weight room in the offseason. He looks bigger than he did a year ago. And of course, he was a freshman last season, a sophomore this year. He looks a lot stronger, a lot bigger, and he's going to be a huge, huge load for any defense to try and deal with during the course of the season. Alex Hernandez had 72 tackles. They did lose their leading tackler, 132 total tackles last season for graduated, but the second, third, and fourth leading tacklers for Port all are back. Alex Hernandez had 72 tackles. Also, Jesse Maher, 61 tackles. Timmy Tranel, 57. And, of course, an athlete such as David Gibbs is going to help on that side of the football as well for Port this season. A little bit of a break right now as in the huddle, going over a few things. And, again, that's what part of the scrimmage is about teaching. It's about after seeing a play, going over things right as it's fresh in the mind for these players. Charlie McCarty off on the right-hand side for the Cardinals. On the left-hand side, Nick Brenner. Now motion. Slot man on the left-hand side as well for the Cards. Actually, it's Brenner in the slot. That was Piffner on the far side. Charlie McCarty almost fell down. He was able to keep his feet, but the slip caused the timing of that play to go a little off kilter in the pass, a little outside of Charlie and incomplete. So many unknowns here in 2020. Obviously, with the delay, some teams moving to the spring, we don't know exactly what the playoffs could be. I think in 8-man, they're going to try to be as close to normal as possible because in 8-man as opposed to 11-man, 11-man has 18 conferences. So they're trying to play 7 conference games. For 8-man, you can play the 5 conference games and perhaps start a playoff in week 6. Looking to throw. Again, Ackerman this time goes underneath, making the grab and getting tackled quickly as Nick Brenner near the midfield stripe. Short pickup that time, maybe only 2 yards on the play. Eli Gustafson will draw again now for the Cardinals from the near sideline. Down and long situation for the Cards. See what Paul Micklig has up his sleeve in this situation. And that's also something you would like to see during a scrimmage. Have these different down and distance situations. Be able to get a feel for what you need to do in a third down and fairly long. This time McCarty will line up in the slot on the left-hand side. Nick Brenner split far to the left. There's the snap. Ackerman looking, little swing pass left-hand side, making one man miss, but getting tackled short of the first down sticks is McCarty at about the 47. And going with the short pass to the left-hand side, trying to let McCarty use his legs to get to the first down sticks. That will leave Newman about 5 yards short of the first down. So they'll have a 4th down and 5 from the 47.5-yard line. Year ago, the Cardinals won 12, lost just 1. They won their first 12 games of the season. Despite the fact they won every single game, they were never ranked number 1 in the state. Luck was number 1. Newman was number 2 each and every week last season. And those two teams met, of course, in the championship game. Fire left-hand side, going down, but not able to bring it in just beyond the first down sticks was McCarty. Bounced off his hands and off his chest and incomplete. And the Cardinals will have to reset back at their own 30-yard line. For Newman, 50-51. And those first 2 weeks, 53 and 51, they were all in the first half. They didn't score any points in the second half of those first games. They scored 42, 49, 59, 28. That was the offensive struggle against Elkhart Lakeland Beulah. Still a 28-14 win. But then after that, 48 points, 52, 56, 61, 49. And then they scored 27 in their final game, the state championship game against Luck. but consistently the Cardinals offense was close to unstoppable last season. Another offensive set coming up again. We started off with 20 minutes of Port Edwards offense. Now it's 20 minutes of Cardinal offense, a varsity side, and then we'll have a couple JV sides as well. There's a snap again. Thomas Bates up the middle, runs through a tackler beyond the 35, falls to the 37-yard line. Forward lean that time for Thomas Bates, picks up about 6 yards. Gave him a pretty lousy mark. It looked like he fell forward to about the 37, but it's a scrimmage as well for the officials. So we're all trying to get into midseason form here. Be second down and about 4 yards to go here now for the Cards. Cardinals will have 2 receivers on the left-hand side. Tight end lined up on the right. Dylan Ackerman in the gun. Takes a short drop. There's a ball fake. Down the left-hand side, Charlie McCarty, a little bit underthrown and intercepted. Picked off at the 30-yard line. Charlie did have a couple of steps on the defender, but the throw a little bit under target and leads to an interception for Port. That was an out and up on the near side for Charlie McCarty, and he did get the defensive back to bite just a little bit. And, of course, when McCarty's running a lot of those short patterns we saw early in the scrimmage, they start to pinch in just a little bit, and that leaves them vulnerable to an out and up. Cardinals will reset, first down and 10, back at their own 30-yard line. This time McCarty split to the right-hand side, Nick Brenner on the left. Wing back, left-hand side as well for the Cardinals. Dylan Ackerman, handoff. With it is Thomas Bates, right-hand side, has room to run. 35 up to the 40, falls forward beyond the first down sticks to the 42-yard line. Working the right-hand side of the offensive front, Gavin Wolf on the right-hand side of the front for the Cardinals. Playing the right guard position for Newman Catholic. Gavin Wolf, right-hand guard. Center is Ben Knoll. Left-hand guard, Brendan Shaughnessy for the Cardinals. Oh, solid size, solid athletes for the Cardinals. Opening up the holes this season for both Ackerman and Bates. This time the Cardinals will come out with a double tight end set. Receiver to the right-hand side. Handoff again. Bates, nice little footwork. Oh, and grabbing the ankle, holding on for dear life is one of the offensive front for the Port Edwards Blackhawks. And bringing down Bates for a short, actually no gain on the play. Don't see that very often for the Cardinals where you have the double tight end set. Usually Coach Mickleg with his spread look. But again, an opportunity to work on all the formations that he would like to here during this 20-minute session. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Ackerman, this time an option. He'll pitch it off. Bates cuts the 45 to the 50, finds a seam 40 to the breaks a tackler to the 35 and brought down at the Port Edwards 35-yard line. Little option, quick pitch that time by Ackerman to Bates. And again, there wasn't a lot of room, but pretty good vision by Thomas Bates and able to pick up 27 yards on the play. Being a scrimmage, not keeping track of specific numbers, but Thomas Bates in this 20-minute scrimmage, well over 100 yards at this point. And thanks to the Newman Catholic Friends of the Gridiron for putting up this YouTube channel and streaming this scrimmage today. And, of course, with the social distancing guidelines, not able to have the fans as close as they would like to be. But plenty of folks beyond the fence watching this scrimmage on a beautiful Saturday. Looking to the right is Ackerman. Oh, it's tipped. It's grabbed. It was grabbed by the running back Bates, and the whistle will blow. That was a deflected pass, went off then of Ackerman, deflected to Thomas Bates. And in a normal regular season game, Bates would have been able to run with that football. That's one thing we've seen a couple of times here in the scrimmage. Balls being knocked down on pass attempts by Ackerman. Of course, you look for those patterns. Try to make adjustments. Perhaps the linemen will have to make sure they're in contact with the defensive front. And Ackerman also has to be aware of sometimes putting a little bit more air under the football as well. But if you have the lineman knocking down balls, number one, then you have to start to changing up the blocking patterns. And number two, make sure the quarterback is aware of it as well. Nick Brenner to the left, Charlie McCarty to the right, running backs flanking left and right, Dylan Ackerman. There's the handoff again with his Bates. Bates up the middle. He'll drag the tackler inside the 30, inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. About 7 yards after initial contact for Thomas Bates. Picked up 11 yards, and the sticks will be moved with a first down. Sure, everybody very excited for the start of the regular season next week. Action throughout the state of Wisconsin, Friday night and Saturday afternoon. Boy, we can only hope for a day like today, next Saturday at 1 p.m. when the Cardinals open up here against Greenwood. Had some really nice days recently, and you feel like, boy, wasting a few of them. Oh, there's a snap, bobble, grabbing it, rolling to the right is Ackerman. He's going to fire towards the end zone, and Charlie McCarty, and it's overthrown, incomplete on the far sideline. So a little bit of a tough start to that play for the Cards, but able to deflect it and keep control of it and then keep his eyes downfield nicely was Dylan Ackerman. So the ball will be second down, about 10 yards. Oh, actually, second down, exactly 10 yards to go at the 24-yard line in Port Edwards territory. Probably nearing the end portion of the 20-minute session here for the Cardinals. And again, it's a bit of flexibility. Normally, you have 4 teams at these scrimmages, but obviously with some of the limitations due to the pandemic, some teams not able. Oh, the ball bounces off the hands of Ackerman, covered up by Port Edwards. That one bounced off the hands of Dylan, about head high on the snap, but could not handle it. And I think that is it for that session for the Cardinal offense. For the most part, again, solid work for the Newman offense. Going to have a short break here for a moment, and then we're going to see both teams get an opportunity with their JVs. You can see the players coming off, and it's a good workout. Again, an opportunity to play at game speed for these guys. And now the coaches, Paul Micklig, talking over with Max Ayers. These guys were both members of the All-Star coaching staff a couple of years ago. Coach Micklig, of course, was the head man for the All-Star game a couple of years back. And then he was an assistant as well, running the offense last season. That was one of the losses this summer. That's always such a wonderful experience for the graduated seniors, the All-Star game for both the 8-man teams and for the 11-man teams. And due to the pandemic this summer, the game, which always is played at UW Oshkosh, was canceled. It's a shame, especially for the Cardinal seniors who had graduated. Ben Bates, also Joe Steffen, and also for the Joe Zimetz as well. I mean, all 3 of those players were scheduled to play in the 8-man All-Star game this past July in Oshkosh, but unfortunately the games were postponed, actually canceled, and we're hoping to have those return next summer. But again, lots of different rules and lots of safety measures being followed exceptionally closely. I've been at a number of the Cardinal practices last couple of weeks, and everybody taking it very seriously. The only way we're going to get through this season is for everybody to take it seriously, and you don't want to see a situation where the season gets underway and gets stopped before we're able to get to a potential playoff. But I've been at Newman, I've been at Wausau West watching practices the last couple of weeks, and again, been very impressed with how the coaches and the players, because coaches can talk all they want, but the players have to buy in, and we're seeing, I think, the teams that I've been covering doing it very, very well so far. So now looks like we're going to see the, it's going to be the Cardinal defense or off. I think it'll be the Cardinal offense starting things off. More moving back to the right-hand side. But again, make sure you join us next Saturday, season opener. Next Saturday, Cardinals, 1 p.m. right here at Newman Catholic and Balliet Field, taking on Greenwood. When you look at it, the 2 teams expected to battle at the top of the CWC East. Again, brand new conference, Central Wisconsin Conference East, 8-man division. Actually, it looks like we're going to get some red zone act. Number of red jerseys. Again, the Cardinal D can get the Cardinal offense the football back during the regular season. You can just wear down your opponent very quickly. Heck, he's going to roll to the left-hand side, pull it down 20, 15, to the 10, inside the 5. Back and brought it down at the left-hand side, then make a nice move. It looked like he was going to be heading yard line. It'll be first down goal from the 1 here for the Port Edwards offense. Again, the JV offense. Ball on the left-hand hash. Under center this time is the QB. Split back formation. Be a pitch out right-hand side. Trying to get to the corner and getting tackled short. And in fact, for a loss back to about the 3-yard line. Nathan Clement, one of the smaller players on the field, putting his helmet in there. In on the tackle for the Cards. Both teams, again, will be opening at home next week. Friday afternoon for the Port Edwards squad. 4 o'clock kickoff for Port. They'll take on Marion Tigerton at Port Edwards. Similar situation for these squads. They play on home fields without lights, so can't play those Friday night 7 o'clock games. There's a handoff up the middle and plowing towards the end zone. I don't think getting there was the running back, as the Cardinals able to stack them up right at the goal line. Owen Sullivan in on the tackle. Looked as though Wyatt Gasper also in the middle for the Cardinals, helping out with that tackle as well. Great to see these guys out on the field. It's been such a long wait for some activity against opponents. 5-week delay. Oh, bobble on the snap, but grabbing it is the quarterback and plowing into the end zone for the score. Actually, 4 weeks off. This should have been the 4th week of the regular season for these teams. Instead, next week will be week number 1 of the campaign. Again, some teams you see, especially football-only conferences, have 8 teams in them. 7-week regular season, 7 conference games, and then potentially 2 weeks in some sort of season-ending tournament. There's a quarterback run to the right-hand side and a short pickup. Again, Clement in on the play for the Cards. Also in on the play, James Bates for Newman Catholic. And getting up as well as Wyatt Gasper. But 8-man, there's 6-team conferences. You look at the CWC East, the Cardinals and the Blackhawks are in. You have 5 conference games. And then week 6 and 7, I think the hope is for 8-man football to have a 16-team playoff, have a 4-week playoff potentially, have the option for teams that are not in those playoffs to still be able to play a couple of regular season games and continue to play until the end of the season. But no official announcement has been made by the WIAA on that or any other season-ending tourney. Handoff to the left-hand side. Very short gain that time for Port Edwards. There was a WIAA Board of Control meeting yesterday, but nothing was announced in terms of the potential for postseason in football. Also, a quick note that coming up on Wednesday will be our first edition of the new season of the Big High School Sports Show on Sports Fan 98.9. Join me and former Mosinee head football coach Paul Nowinski every Wednesday from 6 till 7:30 on Sports Fan 98.9. I'll give you more on what our first show will entail here in a moment, but first looking to pass will be Port. Fired, intercepted inside the 10. That was thrown right to the defensive back for the Cards. Connor Kroc with the pick for the Cards. Connor is the backup quarterback on the offense and the JV QB as well. He'll get some opportunities in JV action at quarterback and also at a defensive back position. But coming up this week on Wednesday at 6 o'clock, again, Sports Fan 98.9, online at WXCOFM.com and our mobile devices. Paul Nowinski and I will preview the upcoming football season, look at the week 1 matchups, be joined by our coach guest. There's a snap. Looking to throw. There's a fire on left-hand side. Up for grabs. Another interception. Another pick by Connor Kroc for the Cards. So the Cardinal JV defense looking just as solid as the varsity did for the Cardinals. But the JVs are working it in the red zone, at least for the Port Edwards offense. We'll see whether or not the Cardinals do it the same way. Still working on their, we were told it would be 15 minutes of JV offense and a bad snap, and the whistles will blow. But again, 6:20 on Wednesday, we'll be joined by the new Wausau East head football coach, Henry Kremnitzer. And then at 6:40, we'll be joined by our student-athlete guest for this week, the Wausau West quarterback, Garrett Richard, as we look forward to the East-West Law game on Friday night. So again, 6 till 7:30, big high school sports show. Myself and Paul Novinsky. Hope you can join us on SportsFan 98.9, also WXCOFM.com and mobile devices. Empty backfield this time for Port. Roll to the right-hand side. Here comes pressure again. Gets away from one man. Fires toward the end zone. Tipped in an incomplete pass. Looking at the Cardinals' schedule for this season. I don't think I've mentioned that so far. Maybe very early. But again, next week home, Saturday, September 26th at 1 p.m. against Greenwood. Then the following week, Friday, October the 2nd at Marion Tigerton at Tigerton High School at 7 o'clock. Friday, October the 9th, home against Boulder Gresham. That'll be a 4 o'clock game right here at Newman Catholic High School. Saturday, the 17th of October, Tri-County at 1 back right at the line of scrimmage. For Port Edwards next week, Friday, October 2nd at Tri-County. Home on Friday, October the 9th. They're at Boulder Gresham on October the scheduling non-conference games as a passed on the right-hand side. But Auburndale's trying to fill their schedule and agreed to play them in week 6, assuming there's not a playoff game for Port that week. Excuse me. But the Port Edwards JV offense still working here on this sunny early afternoon at Newman Catholic High School. And I say very early afternoon. It's 12 noon. Glad you could join us here on the YouTube stream of the Newman Catholic at Newman Catholic Friends of the Gridiron Club. Port Edwards looking to throw. Big rush. Getting away. Fired high into the air. Up for grabs and incomplete. Owen Sullivan putting on some pressure. Initial pressure that flushed out the quarterback there for the Cardinals. As the offense continues here for Port. But it's going to be very interesting to watch how these teams start, especially some of the teams, so not just these teams, but I think generally teams in Wisconsin. Who's going to come out solid? Who's going to come out needing some room to grow? Roughly 70% of the schools remained in the fall, 30% moved to the spring. Quarterback, we met in the backfield by 4 different red jerseys. Dane Barnes in on the play. Also, Owen Sullivan again there for the Cardinals. But everybody hoping to try to get as close to a full season in. Obviously, won't get the full regular season in. But for the 11-man teams looking to get 7 regular season games and then a couple of extra games after that. And then for the 8-man, 5 conference regular season games and then more after that. There's a jet sweep to the right. One tackler, but getting brought down after a very short gain. Sullivan and also Nathan Clement. There was some good penetration by Barnes, who had an opportunity in the backfield. But obviously, it's going to be a different feel at games this year. Limitations and a lot of crowds. We see in the Wisconsin Valley teams, in the Valley Football Association, each player and coach gets 4 passes to give out. So, again, very limited in those cases. This time an empty backfield for Port Edwards. 2 receivers on the left, 2 more on the right. Again, we're in the JV portion of the scrimmage. Roll to the right. There's a pass. It will be complete, but a quick tackle. Nice job by Clement to get the tackler down right away. That's the thing. Nathan Clement, only 5 feet 1 inch tall, barely 100 pounds, but he is a good tackler. Does things fundamentally sound. In that case, very quickly able to bring down the receiver on the near sideline. Well, it'll be marked at the 10-yard line. It'll be a first down and goal situation here for the JV offense for Port Edwards. Again, Port Edwards, they have some pretty good expectations this season. They think they're going to have a very good offense, a very high-powered offense. They have the They also believe they have a lot of experience back on the defensive side. They got a new defensive coach coming in to help out on the staff. It was a lot on the plate of Max Ayers a season ago, but he's got a new defensive coach to try and help out, as well as Ayers will call the plays, continue to call the plays on the offensive side. Looking to throw. Plenty of time. Now here comes the rush, and getting away from one tackler inside the 10 to the 5. Quarterback will cut to the right and dive towards the end zone and get there for the score. Ben Hardesty was in there, had a chance to wrap up the quarterback. Could not bring him down, and the whistle did not blow, so play continued and a touchdown for the Port Edwards JV offense. Looks as though the offensive session will continue here for the Port Edwards JV squad. Well, we have a moment. I'm going to try to dig out those off-season, preseason rankings that we had from WisSports.net for 8-man football. But another pass attempt, fire down the right-hand side, one-on-one coverage. Clement goes up, got a piece of it, tipped into the hands of the receiver for a touchdown. There's a case where the 5'1" frame of Nathan Clement could have used an inch or two more, because he got his fingertips on it, got a piece of it, but could not knock it away. And the good hand-eye coordination by the receiver to bring it in for Port Edwards. So back-to-back touchdowns for the Port Edwards JV offense. Receivers three to the left-hand side. Again, looking to throw his Port. Fire down high down the left-hand side. Receiver is open. May have been a little early contact, but no, apparently not. Throw was underthrown. Receiver was wide open, but the pass. We'll see the Cardinal offense on the JV side coming up. This time the Blackhawks have two receivers on the right-hand side. One back, line up to left. It'll be handoff up the middle to the 10, to the 5, falling forward to about the 2 after falling to the turf. The running back tried to stretch the 10 to the 5, falling forward to about the 2 after falling to the turf. The running back tried to stretch the football out, but he would. This year's, but maybe a mistake. Right. Okay, very good. There's a fake handoff, roll to the left, and being brought down inside the 5 is the QB for the Port Edwards squad. Again, pretty long stretch here for the offense. And again, that's one of the things here with the two-team scrimmage. A lot of flexibility for these guys. And I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, normally you don't want to face a team in a scrimmage that you're going to face during the course of the regular season, but a lot of the rules are being thrown out here for 2020. You got to do what you got to do in order to get the competition. Getting flushed, now rolling to the right, fire to the end zone, a little bit high and incomplete. Nice hit in the end zone there by the defensive back, Nathan Clement. These guys getting a lot of opportunity here today. Chance for myself to try to get some of the rust off as well. It's been a long drought, and I know for fans as well as broadcasters, been waiting for the return of high school sports for such a long time. Back to the 20-yard line now for the Blackhawks. Three receivers to the right-hand side. Time to throw. High into the air again. Into triple coverage. Ball is tipped. Ball is nearly grabbed by Port. That looked like a Hail Mary pass. 3 receivers, 3 defensive backs, high into the air, but it came down just a bit short. Good workouts here for these guys. And again, another beautiful scrimmage day. We've been, in recent years, been pretty lucky on scrimmage days. Last season was a similar day. It's not hotter because we were playing a lot earlier. This time, 4 receiver set, 2 to the right, 2 to the left. In the pocket, looking to throw over the middle. It's over the intended target into the hands of a second receiver for a touchdown. I'm assuming it was the intended target. It may have well been but 2 receivers basically in the same area, and it somehow ended up into the end zone for a touchdown on the final play for this Port Edwards JV offensive scrimmage. So there's going to be a short break, and then the Cardinals will have an opportunity for their JV offense. Expect to see Connor Kroc at the quarterback position for the Cards. And you see all the guys brought their own water bottles. They're basically, again, a lot of changes in terms of trying to keep everything safe here in 2020. And now the Cardinal JV offense does come out to start their session. But looking at what WisSports.net had in terms of their spring football rankings, trying to pull that up here. Cardinals come out 3 receivers to the right, motion to the left. James Bates will now line up far on the left-hand side. Connor Kroc takes the snap. It will be a handoff left-hand side. Trying to turn the corners, Josh Clement. He'll put his helmet down and fight for the first down yardage close to the 10-yard line. But looking at the 8-man rankings, and this was during the offseason, preseason during the spring. Number 1, they gave the defending state champion Luck. Offseason, preseason during the spring. Number 1, they gave the defending state champion Luck. Number 2, Newman Catholic team to 8-man from the Cloverwood. There's a pass right-hand side completed. That was Eli Gustafson. In terms of 8-man football, they've been solid in 11-man for a lot of years. Good coaching, and they're ranked number 5 heading into the season. Shell Lake comes in number 6 in those 8-man rankings. Greenwood number 7. So Cardinals will face Greenwood next Saturday in a top 10 battle to start off the season. Oakfield number 8. I believe Oakfield also is not playing this season. Phillips number 9, and Algoma number 10. Looking to throw Connor Kroc. Those near side goes off the fingertips of Clement and incomplete. That was Nathan Clement. Algoma last season in their first year of 8-man football went 8-1. And of course, their only loss was to the Newman Catholic Cardinals in week number 3. But they were ineligible for the postseason playoffs because of their enrollment. And again, enrollment has to be under 200 for a team in 8-man football to be eligible for the postseason playoffs. Frankly, I think Newman, this ranking is based a little bit too much on what Luck did last season. I think the Cardinals, when they got back up the middle, nice spin by Clement. That was Josh Clement right up the middle. Got it inside the 10 to about the, inside the 15 to about the 11-yard line. But again, from my totally biased point of view, Newman Cardinals, I think, are the team to beat going into the season, as much as Coach Mickling won't like me saying that. Receivers left and right. Again, looking over the defense, starting the count at the line of scrimmage is Connor Kroc. He'll keep it himself, right-hand side, inside the 10, outside to the 5, to the pylon, and waiting for the official to make a, now he'll say he's out of bounds at the 2. A little bit of a delayed call by the near side linesman. It's interesting to see these teams in the 8-man top 10. You got 3 former Cloverwood Conference foes, Newman Catholic, Greenwood, and Gilman. Would not be surprised in the near future to see others. I mean, we see from the Merriwood, Auburndale, at least this season, moving to 8-man. And Withy, I think, made a mistake. They should have been 8-man, but they decided to try to go 11-man, and now they're canceling games. They've canceled at least 3 of their games so far this season because of a number of issues. Now, at the 2-yard line, Connor Kroc rolls slightly to the right, fires it. It's incomplete, off the fingers. I'm not sure if the defender who cut in front of that pass got a hand on that one, but I don't think so. I think it was just a straight drop, and the Cardinals will have a 2nd down and goal to go coming up at about the 2-yard line. Coach Mickling in the huddle, calling out the play for his JV offense. If you joined us late, again, the JV finishing things off. It was James Bates who dropped that football for the Cardinals. But we start with the varsity, now the JVs. There's the snap. It's a handoff up the middle. Clement, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. Josh Clement able to finish off that JV drive for the Cardinals. Back to the 20-yard line again for this JV session. They're basically using red zone offenses to give these guys an opportunity. And the Cardinals, varsity guys, relaxing on the near sideline after their workout. And again, both offensively and defensively, Newman Catholic did a nice job with their varsity players. Motion to the left. There's the snap. It's an option to the right-hand side. There's the pitch. Cut back to the 20. Breaking a tackle to the 15 and stacked up right there. So that'll be a pickup of about 5 yards for the Cards. Again, nice crowd. We heard some cheering for the Port Edwards team when they made a couple of nice plays. So a few of the folks from Port Edwards made their way over here to Newman Catholic outside the fence. And again, at the far sideline, enjoying the sunshine in a safe way, of course. Short of 5 yards inside the 15-yard line on the right-hand hash here for Newman. Motion to the left. There's the snap. Handoff up the middle. Nice little stutter step. Plowing forward to the 10 right at the first down sticks. It'll be first down and goal after a pair of rushes totaling 10 yards for Matthew Meyer. Again, the coach explaining something in the huddle as the JVs will now break and head to the line of scrimmage. This time the Cards will have running backs flanking left and right. Connor Kroc in the backfield. He'll call the signals in the shotgun. There's the snap. Fake handoff to Meyer, fires near side, complete, and Clement to the pylon into the end zone for a touchdown. Nathan Clement on the right-hand side. Nice little footwork right at the pylon to stay in bounds and get it into the end zone for the score. Nice job on the field. Last night after practice, the 3 of the coaches Coach Micklig, along with Coach Thorpe and Coach Ackerman, along with Athletic Director Fitzgerald, we're out here painting down the lines, both on the main field that you see here on the stream and also on the practice fields behind us. And in fact, they finished up in the dark. Did a terrific job spending some time last night as things cooled off to finish off the lines on all three of the fields here at Newman Catholic. So the Cardinals will reset, 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line in Port Edwards territory. Croc, handoff, Matthew Meyer, big opening, 20 to the 15, plows forward to the 10, and he's right at the first down sticks. The near side linesman did not exactly hustle his way to get to the point where he could see whether or not he got to the 10-yard line, but he's going to mark him just short. Hopefully that linesman's not listening or watching the replay on the YouTube channel, but maybe it's a good thing if he would. We could all take a look at the tape and get a little bit better, right? Exactly. Trying to have some fun here on this Saturday afternoon as we all get ready for the start of the regular season next week. Roll to the left is Connor Croc. Little ball fake now. Fire towards the end zone. And again, going up and making a nice grab on the far sideline again is Nathan Clement. Okay, that was Clement. Boy, nicely done. Good body control. Then got the foot down inside the end zone and just inside the far sideline. So the Cardinals will continue their offensive series here with the JV squad. And also have to give a big thanks to Coach Max Ayers and the staff at Port Edwards for coming over here today to a Newman Catholic for this scrimmage. As I said earlier, it's not the ideal situation to face a team that you're going to play during the course of a conference season, but finding scrimmage partners has not been easy for anybody, especially with some of the leagues not allowing scrimmages. Receivers, 2 to the right, 1 to left. Motion by Hardesty. There's the snap. Connor Croc looking left, still looking. Now flush to the right. He's going to fire wide open into the end zone for a touchdown again to Nathan Clement. That's a case where in 8-man football, defense is hard enough. When you give the quarterback that much time and you can look all over the field, it will be impossible for a defense to stay close to receivers for that long. That was a case of the time that Connor Croc had to throw was the big factor in that score. You can't blame the defensive secondary of Port Edwards. The pressure has to be a lot quicker and a lot heavier for the front line. Cardinals again will start at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. A little bit of early movement, no whistle. Meyer up the middle. A little hesitation as he tries to look for an opening and put it down, falls forward to about the 16. A little leeway on those early movements. It'll be 2nd down and a short 6, long 5, somewhere in between. Three receivers on the right-hand side for the Cards. Go down awkwardly in a scrimmage. That's the thing. You don't want to see anybody be nicked going into the first week of the regular season, especially for 8-man, where numbers are always going to be a factor. Depth will be a huge factor for teams. I mean, we see 4th season of 8-man football getting underway for the Cards. They started off in 2017 with a 10-0 record, winner of the first place Jamboree game over Luck. Season number 2 in 2018, they won their first 11 games, but then lost to Sevastopol in the state semifinal. And then last season won their first 12 games, made it all the way to the WIAA 8-man state championship game against Luck, where they lost 42-27. There's handoff, right-hand side, and Meyer will be tossed down in the backfield for a loss. But to go 33-2 in their 8-man journey so far, incredibly impressive for the Newman Catholic football program. But the one thing is they still want that WIAA state championship. It was an unofficial state title in 2018. The WIAA started their official state championships and the JV side for the Cardinals. Towards the holy cow, we got true royalty in the booth. So watch Channel 12 News tonight, right? For highlights of the scrimmage. We're and again, thanks to the Newman Friends of the Gridiron for putting up the YouTube channel for live streaming of this scrimmage today. Very happy to provide what commentary I've been able to provide. Oh, quarterback keeper, right hand side, crack inside the 10 to the 5 and into the end zone for a touchdown. But for you fans out there tuned in today, I'm glad you could join us online here for this scrimmage, and hopefully Tony Knoll is doing a nice job with the camera. So if there's any camera problems, do not write me. Call Tony Knoll. I think they're maybe wrapping things up. So if that is the case, I think that will do it. Again, we started off with the Andrew, did you have anything before this? Here from Newman Catholic High School. Again, next Saturday afternoon. Join me on SportsFan 98.9 and 12:30, WXCOFM.com, your mobile devices. Season opener between the Cardinals and Greenwood will be on the air starting at 12:30 for the pregame, 1 o'clock for the opening key, focusing on the log game between Wausau West and Wausau East. We will be joined by the new head football coach at Wausau East, Henry Kremnitzer, at 6:20, and Wausau West quarterback Garrett Richard at 6:40. So again, 6 till 7:30. So again, thank you for joining us here on YouTube.com for the coverage of this scrimmage between Newman Catholic and Port Edwards. How's it going, Andrew?
Pretty good.